Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I want to show you this very special knife. This is the Victorinox Executive in red ALOX. Now this knife here dates from the early 1970s, and I have to say this thing is in pretty darn good shape for its age. Now there are a few interesting factors that go into this older knife that make it quite unique, and I will show you those now. But first off, the Executive has a few very interesting tools on it. So really quick, it has an orange peeler and a flathead screwdriver on the tip there, and then it also has a nice thin main blade here, and on this main blade it says Victorinox, Switzerland, stainless roast fry, but the branding or the tang stamp is stamped in this direction, whereas on a more modern Executive, you're actually going to have the tang stamp printed in this orientation, or stamped in this orientation, I should say. So there is that little bit of a difference, but the other difference is going to be in the orange peeler. Now the Victorinox orange peeler is one of those more unique tools that are on the Executive, and I have to say it's useful, but man, it's a unique tool to have. But this is a more modern orange peeler that you would find on an Executive model or a companion model. And you can see here the teeth are actually going to be a little bit wider. They're going to be a little bit bigger. And when it came to the original, it actually had very fine and very thin teeth when it came to those serrations. So let's compare those very quickly against each other. So you can see that these on the older model are going to be a lot smaller and probably a lot harder to sharpen in the long run, whereas the newer ones are going to be easier to sharpen and probably a little more effective. Now on the back side, you can see here that it's actually going to be kind of a chisel grind. It's only sharpened on one end, whereas on the older one you actually had a backside bevel, and that is very interesting to see on these older ones. Now you can also see that the orange peeling blade here is actually sharpened a little bit differently than the newer one. When it came to each side, had a more aggressive cut in the backside there versus this side where you use a flat grind on that side and then a convexed or curved interior grind there. So that's a little bit of a difference there. Then on the Executive, you also have the smaller pen blade. And then on the back side, you have the nail file. But being that this is a older nail file on an Executive knife, it also has a few differences. So on this one, you have a nice curved tip there, which actually makes it a little more of a more sharpened point there for cleaning under your fingernails. But you can see it's curved there and beveled, and then you're going to have the cross-hatched nail file texture there, whereas on a modern one you're going to actually have a flat back, a very thin tip, and then you're going to have the cross-hatched nail file. So those are a few differences there on the nail file. But then when it came to the 1970s and the scissors, you actually had a single leaf spring. Now what does that mean? A single leaf spring is going to be a single piece of metal that is going to act as a spring for the scissors, and these were made out of black carbon steel. So these were actually prone to rust if you weren't careful, and in a lot of cases these have actually snapped on older knives and have been replaced by the double leaf spring that is now present on Victorinox knives nowadays. So that is what the modern leaf spring looks like now, and that's really what Victorinox is stuck to. Now this is a Executive knife from probably the early 1990s, but it still shows some of the similarities that are seen in this older knife. Now this Victorinox Executive is getting a lot harder to find, especially in this condition. I would probably rate this at an 8.5, and this knife is just in fantastic shape. But these ALOX Executive knives actually came in a multitude of colors. You saw blue, gold, green. I've even seen purple in one case, but that was actually a company branded one. But these knives are just getting really hard to find, and if you ever do find one, hold on to it. They're getting more valuable every day. So I thought you guys would enjoy seeing this one and seeing it compared against a more modern executive that you would see nowadays. So till the next one, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.